In this interview by Hakeem Gbadamosi, the Secretary General of the Pan-Yoruba Social Cultural Organization, Mr. AFENIFERE, Shola Ebiseni, speaks on sundry national issues. He was asked, President Muhammadu Buhari has just ordered the establishment of farm estates across the 108 senatorial districts in the country, but the Afenifere appears not to trust every move of the president on agricultural development. Why is that so? He responded, as long as President Buhari continues to demonstrate that the central point of his government's policy is the promotion of Fulani supremacy, it is not surprising that the programs of this government are viewed with utmost suspicion, not only by the Afenifere but also other well-meaning ethnic nationalities. The so-called integrated farm estates in all senatorial districts are coming after most Nigerians have rejected several other agricultural programs like cattle colony, ruga, grazing routes, and grazing reserves, which are all doubtlessly meant to create Fulani heavens in the ancient lands of other tribes. We are not deceived that the hidden aim of this integrated farm estate is to create 3 Fulani colonies in every state. It is worse than any of the other such programs which have been rejected by the people. It is even more preposterous that such programs are only announced by the government after Mieti Allah or some Fulani personalities would have made a case for it. But integrated farms estates also include other agricultural activities. He responded, that is exactly what you are meant to believe, but we have been able to lift the veil off such facades. The thousands of acres of lands are meant to be acquired and constituted as new towns established by law with modern infrastructure, which are non-existent in the neighborhood. It is only a matter of time before the Fulani herders would have not hidden their lack of capacity to live peacefully with other Nigerians, would send away other so-called farmers to realize their original intention of territorial conquest. Go and ask the original Taruk Jukun, Bashir Rawa, and others how their territory on the Plateau became a Wase Emirate, and learn about the fate of the several nationalities of southern Kaduna and others in several parts of the Middle Belt. Next, he was asked, are you then saying that there is no trust among Nigerians anymore? How can the citizens live together as a nation? He responded, this is the crux of the matter. And that is the question we should be asking the president as the father of the nation. To start with, how do you feel comfortable with a father that asks his bereaved children of Benue to go and seek peace with their assailants? Who will trust a government that allows Fulani terrorists to kill the people and take over their lands and homes, while it shamelessly creates IDP camps for Nigerians as refugees in their own state? Who will trust a government that wants to put them in the same farm estate with people the same government cannot prevent from taking over military barracks and the defense academy, which it cannot prevent from killing and adopting very senior military officers? How do you trust and live in peace with people who openly tell state governments, as in Benue and Taraba, that the laws legitimately made by our legislators will not be obeyed, and the federal government, which has the monopoly of the police and other security forces, endorse such treasonable acts in words and deeds? We are too discerning to be deceived with such a Greek gift as farm estates. Security is what we need for prosperity. Sheikh Ahmad Gumi and some Fulani leaders were in Igboho, Oke Ogun on Tuesday. They said they were touring the southwest for peace. What is Afenifere's reaction to that? Sorry, we don't operate at the level of Gumi and those jesters in his company. They had merely thought of coming to Ibarapa to mock us, insult our intelligence, or they are being haunted by the fear of their evils. A child that curses the Iroko should be told that the Oluwere is not in a hurry for its definite strike. When they toured their own territory, Gumi needed a battalion of combined security forces to move around and amidst weapons-wielding terrorists. But in Yoruba land, they were shocked by the fact that they were moving without armed guards. They were further surprised at the religious harmony and had to pose in front of the signpost of a Muslim secondary school, not knowing that in that part of Yoruba land, Islam had been in existence since the Mali Empire for centuries before the Uthman Dan Fodio jihad and the destruction of the Hausa empires, which were replaced by Fulani emirs in the 19th centuries in the name of religion. They have destroyed the fabric of modern Nigeria such that even the Hausa now assert their identity separate from the Fulani, who are killing and destroying the wealth of the Hausa farmers in Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, part of Kebbi, and all over the northwest. Shouldn't Gumi and his team be circumspect enough that they were simply ignored in Igboho and not attended to by anyone? We are not adverse to dialogue and peace, but it can only be with serious-minded and respectable people. We have such eminent and respected personalities in large numbers among the Fulani of Nigeria. What is AFENIFERE's position on the ongoing controversy about the value-added tax? AFENIFERE is not mine or anyone's organization. It is a common heritage of the Yoruba with progressive inclinations, ordinarily being subjudiced, at least now in the Court of Appeal. I may want to do an analysis on the VAT issues. Suffice to say that we salute Nyesom Wike of Rivers State for his courage to take up this matter as an essential ingredient of resource control and restructuring in a federation. VAT is a tax levied on goods and services, but eventually borne by the ultimate consumer, so it is a residual matter which relates to the location of the consumer. It cannot be overemphasized that it is most unjust for the federal government to collect taxes from the consumer of certain goods in a locality and remit same to all the states, including those where the consumption of same goods are prohibited. Alcohol, for instance, central collection and remittance of tax, irrespective of contributions, breed institutional laziness. Yoruba call it ogota ogo, ota, which literally means that the carrier of wares in the market will get paid whether the owner of the wares made gains or not. Going forward to 2023, what is the choice for AFENIFERE, restructuring or election? Isn't the answer located in the question itself? Of course, as Democrats, AFENIFERE is not adverse to elections. However, isn't it common sense that we must first have a country to have election? Isn't it clear that we must first settle the issue of the integrity of the nation's corporate existence before elections? And please don't misunderstand us. The restructuring can be achieved less than a year from now and long before 2023. Nigerians are same as humans being everywhere. Why are we so blessed in material and human resources? Yes, our country is very rudderless. I don't believe that we don't have leaders that can turn our fortunes around. Obasanjo, an army general almost 12 years, head of state and president of Nigeria, is a world personality, a mighty man of valor who could have been the Secretary General of the United Nations. Jonathan is a PhD holder. President Buhari, a military general like Obasanjo, is also ruling Nigeria for the second time, yet the nation is in chaos and ungovernable. Is it not clear that if the foundations be destroyed, there is not much the righteous may do? Our leader, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, has always said he would not support his own son to rule Nigeria on the basis of the present constitution because nothing comes from nothing. Where do we then go from here? He responded. The mistake we often make is this silly talk that our unity is not negotiable and the union indissoluble, as if we are insulated from the dialectical processes that dictate human and societal engineering. We either take steps to stem these forces like erosion into the direction of our mutual desires by resolving the destructive conflicts and contradictions, or bow willy-nilly to the immutable force between 1951 and 1953. India had the problem of nationalities, structure, and a new constitution. Their leader, Jawaharlal Nehru, called for national dialogue and fixed the nation with a new constitution, and the nation endures. The Republic of Benin was faced with political and structural crises that left the nation almost a failed state, as we now face in Nigeria. Matthew Kereko called the National Conference in 1990, had a new constitution with an election within a year that even swept him out of power in national interest. There are those who are also recommending the USSR option, where Gobachi, within less than 2 years, felt the center could no longer hold, and the Soviet Federation peacefully dismantled.